Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. See my voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. We are back again, smiling, but I think reluctantly after yesterday. Nat, I'm obviously going to get straight into that in a minute, but yeah, a lot of people in the chat are already asking questions about Ollie and whatnot, and obviously we'll delve into that. But firstly, Nat, how are you doing? And apart from the game, we've had a good weekend.
Yeah, apart from the game, I've been good. I've been happy. Just happy to be back out, seeing my friends, family, and all that kind of thing, and seeing people. But yeah, yesterday it sort of ruined it. But I just tried to not avoid it, but just try to just keep positive, I suppose. Positive vibes the best that you can.
As you always do, Nat, to be fair, as you always do. Niall, I do believe the fan did go to hospital, was stabilised, went to hospital, so obviously prayers for him and or her. We're obviously not sure yet, and obviously the family as well. And yeah, best wishes and hopefully a speedy recovery. Horrible seeing that, obviously, after the Euros, what happened as well. Shocking to see that, but I love how Reguilon and Dyer in particular, the Spurs players, how they reacted and alerted the ref. I thought that was top class, so I just want to put a special mention there for them. But yeah, I'm a bit like you now. I always try and stay positive, always try and look on the bright side, but it's getting harder and harder to do that, isn't it? Because we're seeing the same old mistakes over and over again. Obviously, we know how reactionary people are as well. Straight away, I mean, I avoided Twitter for pretty much all yesterday afterwards, to be honest with you, because I was just thinking, I'm already suffering from the result, but I'm going to be suffering even more scrolling through Twitter and seeing some of the mad reactions that you're bound to see. But in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, we've always said, obviously, we're Ole and we'll back the manager to the whole and no matter what. But it is getting more and more difficult to defend, isn't it? Obviously, these poor performances, it just doesn't seem to be improving that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, I saw the only thing I really did see was, apart from the game, was like Gary Neville at the end sort of saying it's not like a team, we're not playing like a team, and, he's not playing his best players. And then I think, well, Cavani was on form. We brought him in for dropped Solskjaer, dropped Ronaldo, brought in Cavani because he was sort of more on form, and that was seen as a mistake. Then he's brought back Ronaldo, then that's seen like a mistake, and it's just there seems to be a problem. And even I get where people are coming from. Oh, we need this player, we need that player, but we've brought in lots of quality players. I think it's bigger, maybe. I don't even know because I don't want to say that, but it's like it's like they need to play together more. And that might solve it. But then I just think, I don't know, I think it's like a deep issue. They need to be tracking. They need to be working. They need to be giving their all. And I'm sure they do give their all, but, I heard Gary Neville, De Bruyne will run to the end. Bernardo Silva will run to the end, whereas you don't really see that as much. As we saw it when Bruno came in, he was like that guy, and Bruno always tries to press, but then no one's following up. And I think if it won't work if it's just like one person or it's just one or two. They'll have to do it as a unit, know what they're doing, and that's what it looks like. They don't look drilled enough together. We know they're quality players. No.
Ironically, we do not look united.
Yeah.
I think it's spot on that, and I think the annoying thing for me as well is seeing teams just cut through us, like through our midfield, like they're not even there, and we see it over and over again. We've said so many times, obviously, we can't nullify those counter attacks. We always look so vulnerable. And it's just with these teams just seem to pass through our midfield, like I said, that they're not even there. And a lot of people like slate Fred and whatnot, and obviously I've joined in that a few times as well. But Fred wasn't even there yesterday, so what's our next excuse? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're seeing it over and over again, and the whole press situation you mentioned there, Bruno will often lead it. Ronaldo ain't the type really to lead a press, we know that. But we need to do it as a unit, and you're seeing ones and twos going, and you just get passed around where you see other teams, and it's tactically, it's perfect. They know how to press as a team, know how to press as a unit. We just don't seem to grasp that. But does that come down to players and individuals not wanting to do that pressing, or does that come down to the manager? And I think that's a bit of a debate.
I think it's a bit 50-50. It comes down to maybe the players not wanting to do it, thinking they're above it. But then at the same time, the manager should be instilling that this is how we're going to play. And maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I think, his style is a counter-attacking style. But, there was times then when it was there to sort of be played that counter-attacking style. You play counter-attacking style, you want them to be pressing high, and they're just not doing it. And like you say, just being cut through and not being drilled defensively, that's a major issue. It's an issue that we've had, for a while. We had it under other managers, and it's just, is it these players sort of think that they're above managers, and if it don't go well, they don't want to sort of graft? I don't know. But it's just, I agree with you. I think it's bigger than sort of different players. You could put this player in, that player in, don't matter. I think we still have these faults, and like I said, it's an overall thing. It's all the players. It's a team, in my opinion.
Yeah. Naeem says Atlanta and Liverpool like to have more possession of the ball. This could help United in the counter attacks. I don't know. You'd like to think so, but I think teams have figured it out. They know that if they're sitting low against us, they're going to get the chances on the counter attack. They're going to be able to break through our midfield. Yeah, I think that blueprint's kind of there already this season, isn't it? Zio's in the chat as well. Zio, it looks like he's switching to that Ollie outside. Looks like he could be edging that way. Let us know, Zio. But it's a sad realisation. Surely everyone can see what the problem is now. And a lot of people have said tactically, and I agree with that. Obviously, tactically, we can all that. If Ollie in or Ollie out, you can still say, you know what, tactically we are not good enough. You can't tell me you're happy with what we are seeing right now, over and over again, week in, week out. It's simply not good enough, is it? Rahul, thank you so much, firstly, for that super chat. I really do appreciate it. It says, we haven't played one good game this season, except for maybe Leeds. One of the positive ones, but the truth is, the truth needs to be addressed. You're right. When have we had a good game this season that realistically, obviously the Leeds one was mad because the whole Varane introduction as well. First game, obviously, at home as well. But apart from that, it is concerning, isn't it? The performances, and I think there's only so many times you can ride a game and think, you know what, we were looking to get the win there. We were looking to get the point there. Eventually, like, your comeuppance is going to come, and obviously that came for us against Leicester at the weekend. The second you play against decent teams, I do think we have come unstuck this season.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think even versus Villarreal, we did win it, and it was dramatic, and everyone loved it and thought. And I mean, I thought, it's great. That's going to give us a boost, but it was just Villarreal cut through us so easily. They could have had 2 or 3 goals before we got our first. And like you say, it's just the same thing that we're seeing. I agree with that super chat. We're never seeing in-game changes. I think he plays one way and that's it. But is that, I think he's even said, Ollie, he's not the best in that respect. So you bring other people in. Does he need to bring in more people? Does he need to bring better people? We've got that Eric Ramsey who's supposed to be one of the best. I've heard a little rumour about, I know I said it to you, Soph, about Molestein coming back. He was a big part when Fergie was there. That's what I'd say. He needs to bring in that calibre of coach, maybe. And I'm not saying that the other ones that we got there are bad, but, maybe he needs to bring in something different. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the games go and the big games that we've got coming up. Because I know this isn't me being naive. I know that when we've been in these runs, so we've had negative results against Leicester's, against this, against that, and then we go and smash City and Liverpool.
Yep.
But then that's not good enough because we need to be
typical Ollie,
consistent. Yeah. And in a way, I'm sort of a bit getting annoyed. We probably will maybe beat Liverpool, and then that's just going to mask over it. And I don't think we should then forget what's gone before just because if we do have a good performance because of what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll get you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really do appreciate it. It's really kind. And I agree. I think the tactical changes obviously is a big thing, and that's why a lot of people are getting frustrated. I think a lot of times we are relying on individual moments of excellence, a bit of brilliance from an individual, which obviously doesn't fall on the tactics. But when those individual moments don't happen, then we struggle. It's not like we're going to graft it out and, do you know what I mean? And grind, it takes a bit of luck sometimes. And I think we've had that a lot this season. I do agree to an extent that we're still quite early in the season, but if we want to be competitors for the league, and obviously with Ronaldo coming in, you have to say you have to be up there as contenders. You can't be dropping silly points like we have been doing. These are warning signs for me. We need to act on it and act on it now. But now you talked about obviously the Liverpool game, obviously Atlanta as well. If Ollie does win those 2 games and we do go on a bit of a run, for him to prove himself, do you think he has to carry on after this run of games then obviously against the lesser teams? Because we've seen it before, like you say, big games have come on. We've needed to win more than ever, and Ollie manages to drag it out. But then we're still seeing the same mistakes now. We need to go on a strong run now, don't we? And like I say, it needs to continue after. We need to see some consistency in performances, which the only consistency we've seen so far this season is poor performances. That's the only thing that has been consistent. So obviously that needs to change. Have you got faith in Ollie that he can turn it around?
Yeah, because I think this has been the best kind of football. It sounds really, because now we're sort of talking, but it's been the best that we've seen since Fergie, in my opinion. It has been consistent in that we've been regular top top 4 finishes, regularly get into, I know it's not good enough, but regularly get into semi-finals, finals. Yes, other managers have sporadically won things, but, you know, they would win something and not qualify for Champions League. Ollie has got us sort of 3rd, 2nd. So I do think it is, he's the player he's attracted have been better than maybe other than like when they brought in Falcao and that. But even then, they didn't bring the best out of them. I think Ollie has brought the best out of players. Shaw, Pogba, but, you know, even Cavani came in last year and he was amazing. You know, I know obviously we've sort of said it, I don't know if we're going to go on to it, but it's about Ronaldo coming in. Is it, you know, you'd always bring in a Ronaldo, you know, you'd always bring in a player like that. But, you know, it's what you just said earlier about he doesn't really press them. So then does that suit our style? It's one of them, you know, whereas you got to bring him in because he's world class. He's one of the best players in the world. He'll get you loads of goals. But then, you know, we probably needed better players around him first before getting him, if you get what I mean. It's like you got the cherry without the cake and the icing.
You know, it's like, obviously we were screaming out for a CDM, and I think the fact that we're so vulnerable after these counter-attacks, a lot of it boils down to the fact that we didn't recruit and get that CDM that we needed. But obviously, like you say, you've got the chance to sign Ronaldo, you bring Ronaldo back. But a lot of people are arguing that Ronaldo coming into this team, because maybe he's 36, he doesn't press like we've just mentioned. He creates a bit of an imbalance. Now, my argument back to that is, without his goals this season, where would we already be? Like, we know he brings goals. And also, we're seeing the same problems that we saw last season, even when Ronaldo wasn't even at the club. Like, it was still the same kind of games that we were struggling in. And of course, Ronaldo coming in, you think he's going to make a difference. But at the same time, like, if he's not getting the service or the play into him isn't good enough, and we know that creativity from midfield isn't good enough. And like I say, it balls back to that CDM again. Donny not getting any minutes again. I think that comes into it as well. Like, there's a lot of questionable decisions, aren't there? So Ronaldo coming in, obviously, I kind of agree with the age thing. And obviously, I said, is he going to hit into Greenwood in the future and whatnot? There's obviously question marks, but you're always going to bring back Ronaldo. If you get the chance to bring Cristiano back home, you're going to do it, aren't you, regardless? And like I say, I think my argument to that is, without his goals already this season, we'd be a lot further behind than we are, probably.
No, I 100% agree. I think a player like Ronaldo, you can't not bring him back. And especially with what was talking about, he's going to go to City. And I know then people say, oh, it's all sentiment. But, you know, Ronaldo's available, you bring him back. That's it. It's about, they should have already been at the position where they were fully strengthened before the Ronaldo talk even happened. And that's what I think it was. Like you said, I think we knew there was no creativity in midfield. We knew about, you know, the CDM. So why wasn't that the first thing? You know, I think we needed Sancho. Yeah, we needed the right wing and stuff like that. But, you know, we needed for me, CDM was next. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have brought Varane in, but I think he's absolutely quality and we missed him yesterday, you know. But I think it was a CDM before a centre back for me. So, you know, those 3 positions should have been sorted. You know, CDM, right wing, centre back, and then
we're
you
all
look
screaming
at
for
who's next, and then Ronaldo pops up, bang, you get him. And I get, like, with all this money, we're not thinking, but we should have enough money to be able to do that. I mean, I don't think Ronaldo was, you know, obviously his wages are big, but I don't think we paid a massive fee to Juventus. They just wanted him out, didn't they?
But you say money and whatnot, and obviously I agree. Obviously, you can't just keep spending, and Ronaldo coming in might change that. But we've still got players that we've been saying should have gone out. Jesse Lingard should have gone. Obviously, I love Jesse to bits, but at the end of the day, like that there was money there to be made in that deal, 100%. And we've still got a lot of players, and I'm sure we could sit here and reel them off that we believe probably shouldn't still be at the club right now. Do you know what I mean? And that's where our business needs to be better, getting rid of players. We talk a lot about bringing players in, but also we keep players for far too long. I mean, we all laugh about Phil Jones in the situation. Obviously, don't get me wrong, Phil Jones, we've seen at times can be a very good player, but his injury difficulties and whatnot, a lot of people getting on Phil Jones' back for the new contract he was offered, but that comes down to the club, not to him. As a football player, you're going to take that deal no matter what. Do you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be offering deals to players like that. No disrespect to Phil Jones, but he's just one example. So I think that we complain about money coming in and whatnot and not being able to spend money, but we've got plenty of players that we should have been looking to ship out in the window and we just didn't do it. And that's what's always questionable for me.
Yeah, I mean, I even remember back to when we signed up Bailly again. I mean, yeah, I think he can be like the top centre-back and all that, but I think the minute Varane was coming in, you're looking at, for me, more centre-backs going out. And like you say about Lingard, I mean, I heard we wanted 30, but they were offering 25. For me, I think it's there. The money's there to be had, exactly. Like you said, negotiate it, maybe talk about 27, you know, something like that. Or, you know, I just think that they'd set the stalls out and then, obviously people are going to try and lowball you, but just try and negotiate it up, do things. And then if 25 is what it is, I would have taken 25, for Lingard would have been good money. Yes, we would have wanted more, but, that's the money on where we need it, you know what I mean? Instead, we've got, like,
you look at the money we spent on Donny as well. Donny, like, what, 40 million on Donny, and then he barely getting any game time. That's another questionable one. Like, why
and they didn't even let him go out. He said, I'm not saying we should have sold him or anything, but if he's sort of saying, I want to leave, it's only because we only let Dan James go because he was sort of like more pushing it most, you know what I mean? So if someone's sitting there saying, I want to go, and yes, you're not playing them, well, why are we not letting them go?
Exactly.
Obviously, I want to see him play, but obviously, for whatever reason, it's not happening. So bring someone else in. I don't know. I've seen a comment there turning down 10 million for Romero last year. Joke. It is a joke because he's sitting on the bench. We've got about 5 keepers,
But he was training in isolation and all sorts. Like, weren't we trying to get some money for this player? Like, Romero, to be fair, like, was a professional and obviously kept his head down and whatnot. But when you got a player like that, like, I don't understand that. For me, we don't get rid of players fast enough at United when obviously they're not good enough or they're not going to break into that team. You seem to cling on. Doug, thank you so much for that super chat. I really do appreciate that. He says to concede so soon after equalising was embarrassing. 14 seconds it was until Vardy scored. Sunday will be interesting. Always a tough game to call. Yeah, because obviously it's a derby, cliche, but Funga's at the window, and obviously both teams should be up for it. It was in particular need to bounce back, and against Liverpool, what a better way to do it. We've already said Ollie seems to be able to pull the cat out of the bag when it is a big game, doesn't he? He's able to do that. But yeah, I mean, switching off. Obviously, Varane not being there doesn't help us defensively. Maguire, do you think he was rushed in too quickly, Nat?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think the majority of the mistakes were through him. Obviously, they said he only trained on the Friday and he played him on the Saturday. And yeah, Ollie said, he didn't feel anything. He was good and all this. And he sort of admitted after maybe it was a mistake. And if it is, it's his sort of mistake. Obviously, Maguire's going to say, play me. But I just think, a game like Leicester, what they're going to be like. They're going to press like that. Yes, people might say, this and that, but you didn't. I'm saying we gave Bailly that contract, so why is he not ready to play and stuff?
And to be fair, Bailly against Vardy on the whole,
I would
he's not on top of that battle, And
I mean, I don't think that first goal that we conceded. It was just, it wasn't embarrassing, but yeah, it was on the verge of embarrassing. It's like, come on, that's what they're gonna do. Why are you being so why are you passing it around? Get it up the park, play the. Because when Lindelof picked it up, bang, Rashford 2-2, but then. I agree with what people saying. You can't concede. It's just, for me, I mean, I've seen a few tweets, people saying it's sort of like it's the end of the road now, whereas pains me to say it. Last year, we would have been like, boom, boom, right. We would have been the one scoring 40 minutes after 14 seconds after. It's sort of that kind of thing. Are we, is it winding down to the inevitable? I don't know. I don't want it to. I love Ollie as a person. I think he's done great things, but like you say, schoolboy, embarrassing, shameful in a way, some of these mistakes and silly ones and even just some of his choices, So it's one of them. I get the club are still saying they're backing him, but then we always say, vote of confidence, and then a couple of weeks later, it's horrible to say that.
They're not going to keep taking. They're not going to keep taking losses, are they? That's one thing that is for sure.
Yeah.
But I will get on in a minute into a big debate about what a lot of people witnessed on Twitter yesterday and whatnot. Like certain United fans wanting us to lose, and I just cannot wrap my head around that. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Amir, thank you so much for that super chat. That's really kind. He says, they say Tuchel is a hard dictator but gets results. Ollie has a more mutual connection with our lads. Do you think Ollie's compassion is bad for us? It's a good question, to be fair, because obviously I think it's a difficult one because on camera, Ollie could be very different to what you see in the dressing room. And I do believe that he probably has got a mean streak on him in the dressing room. I think he's a winner, obviously, playing at a top level for a long time in his career, scoring some crucial goals, being around some of the characters that he's been around. Like, I'm sure he has got a side to him, but we don't see that, Nathan. Do you think maybe we need to see that a little bit more? I remember that one clip when he went mad, Jesse, didn't he? And he said, one more and you're off. But I think other than that, we haven't really seen that brutal side to Ollie. Do you think that maybe he needs to switch up his style a little bit?
Yeah, maybe, because, I don't know. I think he's sort of like the Fergie way, where he's sort of like, they all sort of love him and respect him, and yeah, they should. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because
I don't think you see on
them
camera.
to respect him. Yeah, I think he's a different guy. I think what you see, the smiley guy, after a loss, isn't the way he is in the dressing room. Not at all. And I think he will be going mad. But then, like what we said about being the ruthless with sort of maybe axing players, that's what I think we need to see more of. We need to. I know he won't be smiling up with them after, but I think we need to see that ruthlessness. Right, you're out. You're out.
Yeah.
Don't matter that you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you're out. You know what I mean? I think that's.
Yeah.
I want to see more like that. Right, you're having a bad game. Gone. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to see more of. Not just always sticking with the same kind of thing. And I don't know. You know, like people are saying about the whole Donny thing. I'm not fully convinced on that. I think he's the worst. I don't think he's the best. But yeah, if Fred is doing badly, just drop him and bring him Donny in. You know, it's time now. And you know, maybe I don't know. Maguire.
Don't stick to your favourites so much.
Yeah.
Base it on form. Yeah.
100%.
I agree. Andrew said Maguire had a terrible afternoon. His match fitness was clearly not there. Fault for the first 2 goals we conceded. He was absent in the 3rd and 4th goals scored by Leicester. Yeah, safe to say he didn't have a good return, and safe to say Ollie's gamble obviously went against him. And I think a lot of us were screaming out for Boyd to start over Maguire. The fact he only went training yesterday against someone like Vardy, it was always going to be a tough game anyway. He did look uncomfortable for the whole game, didn't he? But we mentioned it earlier, Maguire's always going to want to play. His skipper is going to want to play. Ollie has to make that tough call and say, no, you're not ready. Do you know what I mean? And again, It comes down to that ruthless side, I guess, doesn't it? But Champions League football's back, Nat. We need to bounce back, and we've got a big week ahead of us. Obviously, in the Champions League, we've been a bit lucky so far, yourself, with the Villarreal game and whatnot as well. But we have got Ronaldo, missed the Champions League, so we have to take a bit of confidence from that. But how are you feeling, especially after how we were the other day? Obviously, we see a lot of tweets from players and a lot of reactions. I just want to say as well, obviously, it's positive that Rashford back on the score sheet as well. A great finish by him, a great run as well, and good ball from Lindelof, as you mentioned. So it's good to have Rashford back as well. We have to take the positives from that. And obviously, Greenwood's goal, what a goal that was as well. But we know he's got that in his locker. But yeah, Champions League, like, how are you feeling going into that? Like, are you confident we can bounce back, and we will?
Yeah, because I think we know that we need to basically win these 2 back-to-back Atlanta games, you know, starting at Old Trafford. I think, if we don't, we're looking at, again, not qualifying. So I think, it's that pressure's on. They'll know they have to win it. And then, like what I was saying about that Liverpool game, when suddenly, it's all backs against the wall, that's when we turn it on and we see some of our best football. So I think, they'll take confidence from the last time they played. Champions League game under the lights in front of Old Trafford. And yeah, this is the perfect game for me. Just, Atlanta, good side, but, we should be wiping the floor with them, not in a horrible way to them, no disrespect, but we should be, shouldn't we? Got all these big names, we should have potentially beat Leicester, but it is. I know you don't always get what you should or what you want.
Definitely
but
not.
No, I'm expecting a win, hopefully.
Atlanta very decent, very decent. I don't think they started this season as well as they obviously had last season, but there's Champions League football at the end of the day, anything can happen. We know that we have to be at our best. You can get stung. I mean, young boys, we thought we were going to go and steamroll them, and obviously that didn't go to plan as well. So I do think that you have to be wary of teams. But surely we have to bounce back. Surely we've got to lift ourselves for this. Like I said, Ronaldo will be up for its Champions League. I'm just hoping that we pull a performance out of the bag. But what's your thoughts on that, on certain fans wanting Ollie or wanting the next game to be a loss so that Ollie may end up out the door? Like, what's your thoughts on that? I'm saying certain fans, like, I'm using the term fans very, very lightly.
Yeah.
They're obviously not fans, but
no.
I just don't understand that at all.
No, it's not fans. It's not, you don't pay money, or we don't all tune in, waiting, thinking, let's that might go out of the window then. No, we don't tune in thinking let's lose. Especially not against Liverpool or City or, like you said, Atlanta. We need to win this game. These next 2 Champions League games are the most important. No one wants to be in the Europa League again. Whatever you think of Ollie, forget about it. It's you back your manager till the end. That's how I sort of support. That's how I'm a fan. It's my team. Yeah. It's my club. I back my manager till the end. Yeah, we can sit here and say, you got this one, you got this right. This is what I do. Hell, you could even sit here and name managers that you'd rather have, but you still support the one that's in the seat until they leave. I just don't understand. Let's lose. I can't wait to see us lose. And then I don't also understand the people who will celebrate when we not celebrate, but you'll see like a joy. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. What? You know, I told you so. What? You're not a fan if you want to sit there and go, oh, Ollie, you know these Ollie. No. This is what I don't like. And then that's why I didn't really go on Twitter. I like to see what people are saying. Like I like to hear the analysis. I like to hear from what went wrong. But then it's gone too far now. It's gone to like you said, people celebrating that we've lost, and you see, I told you so. You Ollie this, you Ollie ins this, you, and then when the Ollie wins, it's you Ollie out this. No, well, there's still faults there. So, people just need to. It's like
chill.
Fandom. It's like fandom. Yeah. It's like they just support like certain people, certain players.
Exactly, Pogba FC, Martial FC, all this. I know. So I don't get it. Supporting a player over the club, I do not understand. But wanting your team to lose just so the manager's sacked, I never ever understand that thought process at all. And I'm exactly like you. That's why I avoided Twitter yesterday. Ads has just said, and thank you for the super chat, Ads. Atlanta won 4-1 tonight. High press, high energy. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think your emojis sum up the feelings perfectly. Going into that one. Big up to George as well. George, I hope you're doing well. I've seen you for a while. I hope you're doing good. But yeah, I think this whole perspective of, oh, I'm a football fan, that automatically means I've got my opinion is better than your opinion, or I know better than the actual professionals who are in charge of the club. Like, I don't understand it. Like, we're still fans at the end of the day, and we should all want what's best for our club and whatnot. But wanting the manager to be sacked is just, it's ridiculous. Like, surely you should be thinking, like, I hope the manager, I don't like how we're playing at the minute. I'm not impressed by it, but I hope the manager proves me wrong. I hope the manager shuts me up and actually, do you know what I mean? We succeed. Like, I never understand why you would want to be proven right as such. Like, there's too many egos, I think, amongst football fans sometimes, and it's just a bit frustrating to watch, isn't it? Especially on top of like a loss like that as well. I mean, it's already the most frustrating, and then you've got that on top of it. I just think it's, yeah. Have you talked about why Ollie kept Maguire on all game when Stevie Wonder could see quarter? Yeah, I know. He was not fit. And we've just discussed that he obviously wasn't up for scratch. And Ollie's going to make those choices. He's going to make the choices to not play these players. I think our opinions are better than the people that run our club. I think we all think that. But it's when like people on Twitter and whatnot, like if you're Ollie in, like that's it, you're completely discredited. You know what I mean? Like it's.
But I think it's the case.
Opinions. That's what it is.
For me, Soph, I'm not Ollie in, I'm not Ollie out. I think we've always said on this channel, we just back the manager, and then we'll say positive things and we'll say negative things, but we won't. But I think it's like this divide where you have one or the other. So if you say positive things, someone will attack you. And if you say negative things, someone will attack you. Why can't you just be in the middle and just support the badge and be about Man United? Yeah. That's what I don't understand about this whole Twitter war agendas. I just think I support Man United. I'm not anything, and then people force you to pick these two sides, and I'm just like, I'm just. We're
on the fence. Yeah. Ladies are on the fence.
I met Ollie, and I meet him sometimes because I watch. Obviously, his daughter plays for the under-21s, and I speak to him, and he's a nice guy, and he like sort of knows that I go regularly, and he says hi to me. Oh, you've taken a picture of Ollie? So no, we're just a nice guy that I speak to, And that's it. And that's what I just,
but you're sitting here and saying he's a nice guy and whatnot, but you're also sitting here and saying, look, it's not good enough. What is happening is not good enough and it needs to change. Or obviously Ollie will be in trouble. It's not like you're sitting here saying, no, regardless, like Ollie has to stay no matter what. Like, you're not sitting here like blinded to the fact that it's not good enough. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the difference. Like, you've got to have a balanced view, but not everybody can cope with that, and it is frustrating. But Atalanta, and obviously get in the chat and let us know as well, guys. But what is your score prediction going into that game? Because like I said, it's going to be a tough one. We have got to miss the Champions League, though. We need to bounce back. I'm just hoping that we start this game quickly.
Yeah, I think. Well, I didn't know that they won 4-1 before high press. So obviously, I do think they'll score. Yeah. It could be a 3-2, something like that. I do think it'll be end to end. I think we'll. Listen, Ollie knows. Ollie is very receptive to people speaking to him, but obviously you're not gonna I don't go up to him and say, "Yo, shit, get out of my club," do I? I just say, "Hi, this needs to be better." But he knows it more than anyone. I think. You listen to his interviews. He said he got things wrong. For me, that's what he said. He got that Maguire thing wrong. So there you go. What can you do? I think I know a lot of people are saying Atalanta, but I don't know. I do think they'll score. And I think they'll score a couple. It's just about us scoring more, I suppose. That's what it's going to be. I kind of agree.
James and Andrew, I think it's going to be a tight one. I agree with you. I think they'll concede. I'm just hoping that we slightly edge it going forward. So I'll take another last-minute Ronaldo winner. I don't really mind, to be fair, right now. But obviously the result is important. But Atalanta are very promising going forwards. Very strong midfield. I'm just hoping that we can cause them some problems in the attack. But defensively, we can't help but worry now. We cannot help but worry, obviously, not having Varane as well. I mean, he's a big loss, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, even when I was watching, times that I've seen him, he's absolutely different class. I think he's the reason probably that's kept a lot of these games down. I don't think we would have conceded 4 potentially if he was played. I know that sounds like a big statement, but that's how important he is to us. And these big games coming up, he's going to be a miss. But I am still confident. But like you said, I think it's going to be tight and it'll be like 1 goal in it. But we're I think we can score more than them. We'll get there.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I agree with what you're saying there about smiling interviews, but I want to say something. I'm one of these people, I smile in awkward situations. I've been sat like in funerals and I've been smiling, and not because obviously I'm happy at the situation. It's just that in awkward situations, sometimes I've got a smile on my face. Maybe Ollie's like going, maybe on Solskjaer, I call myself Solskjaer and Viper and whatnot. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe like me and Ollie are the same in that sense. But it is frustrating to see, and I get it, especially the recent one against Everton, where obviously he's putting his thumb up and whatnot. But like I say, I'm sure off camera he's very different. Like I'm sure he is, but obviously we don't always see that. Vincent's bigging up your shirt, your top there now.
Yeah,
is that Smalling? Smalling, 12, yeah.
No, it's Hartley actually, who used to wear 12, one of the original girls. So yeah, it's her top. Gave me it, so it's nice.
We had the old mic on. But obviously, before we do round off this, I want to touch on obviously the bright spark at United at the minute, the shining light at the minute at the club, and that is obviously the women's team. Mark Skinner, you think he's doing a good job on that? Are you happy with what you've seen so far?
So far, I'm happy. I think we lost to Chelsea. We got the point against City. Potentially, we could have got better than that. I think, the cup game, I think we could have. We've got problems potentially conceding a lot of goals from corners. I think even against City, we conceded a lot of, we conceded a set play. But I think he'll come good. He's only just started. He needs to get his players in. So that's where I think they're at different stages. But I think he will come good because I think we're winning against teams that we're expecting to win against. Reading, Leicester, got the point against City. I think the next few games for Man United women is Spurs, Everton, and then it's City in the Cup. So I think those are 3 big games. And I think, we get 9 points there. I think it's going to be a good season for the girls. I think, like I said, I don't see City getting Champions League. They've lost a lot of games. So I think if we could potentially get top 3 and then the girls are in Europe and you attract a better caliber of player then. And, that's where we want to be. We want both teams, men and women to be in Europe. So, yeah.
Definitely. I think he's doing a good job. Obviously, I watched especially the City game the other day. Thought we proper grew into that game. Russo with a great goal as well. And I think we probably should have gone to win that game. Eventually, thought we grew stronger in that game. Hopefully got a bit of belief from that as well. You mentioned City there. Obviously, they're not having the best of seasons, and I'm hoping that we can capitalise on that. But as you say, tough run of games coming up. Everton manager, though. What's the situation there now? That was a bit of a surprise, I've got to be honest, reading that.
Yeah, Willie Kirk, he's been let go. Obviously, they spent a lot of money. And that's what I think it is. I think they've maybe invested over £1 million into their women's team, and he's been there 3 years, and he started the season very slow. They did play City, Chelsea, Arsenal, but I think when they played them, it was big defeats. 4-0 against City. I think 4-0 against Everton. They just lost 3-0 against. They just lost 3-0 against Arsenal. So I think he started the season saying we're going to win the league, we're going to finish top 3, this is what we're going to do. And then obviously you're losing against the top 3 is one of them. I know we got beat heavily by Chelsea, but we're not coming in saying this is what we're going to do, we're going to do this. And I think he sort of dug a hole for himself.
A lot of pressure onto his players there as well.
Yeah. By saying this is what we're going to do, we're going to be in this top 3, we want to win the league. And he's not lived up to expectations, and I think we're going to see a lot of this in the women's game now. I think there's a lot of numbers. There's over 1 million people watching on BBC, the derby. It's on BBC, it's on Sky. So I think if you lose in games, and I think it's the manner in which you lost them. Like I said, big defeats. If it's just by 1, goal, maybe you would still be there. I think if the manners that are losing, I think we're going to see, you know, if he's going to get that Premier League where, you know, 3 months in, it's sat like Watford, have a manager every 2 months. No, but I think, you know, a couple of years, if it's not going the way you want, if you don't start well, bang, on, and that's it. And yeah, slow start. I've heard that the Leon manager, ex-Leon, is going to come in. He's won the Champions League with Leon, so, you know, that's
good experience.
Sort of sets a marker down. That's what they're aiming to do. So, you know, and it's going to be interesting when we play them.
But on United front, looking positive, like I say, Banks, obviously, international break, Russo getting called up as well, more positive news. But fingers crossed we can push on next few games and, get maximum points. That would be nice, wouldn't it? But yeah, I'm impressed with what I've seen so far. I think Mark's doing a really good job, especially after Casey leaving. I think all of us were a bit on edge about what was going to happen, what direction we were going to go in. Obviously, James, as you know, my favourite player, leaving as well. I was gutted by that. But to be fair, I'm excited by what I've seen, and I think he's building something really special. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, the men are back, Champions League on Wednesday. I'd like to say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not. I think I'm looking forward to the next international break and the men's game at the minute. That's how I feel right now. But hopefully we do bounce back and we do start quickly. In terms of the Liverpool game, I am at the Liverpool game at the weekend, so I will be doing some footage from the actual ground, doing a bit of a vlog, which should be really good. But obviously I'll do a preview on here before then as well. I'm going to be on Doug's channel for a preview before that as well. So that's why I haven't touched on that today. We'll be discussing that another day. But yeah, Nat, thank you so much for coming on. Let people know where they can find you. And also, I want to shout out all for United doing amazing things. I mean, even at like my level of the women's game, like I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing. And to win bronze at the FCAs the other day, like more than deserved, definitely. And so congratulations to you guys as well.
Thank you. Yeah, my Twitter's there. I'm not going to put it in, but like you said, all for United WFC. We're doing like content for not only WSL and Man United, but, you know, we do it 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th tier. We're there covering, trying to boost the whole women's game. And I saw someone saying, was I at the game before? No, and I was at the FCA, so that's why I wasn't at the very last game.
Too busy lifting trophies.
Yeah, and it was unexpected. I was a bit nervous. John was more confident than me going into it, but, you know, I'm just happy and grateful for everyone who voted for All for United WFC. You know, best in women's content. We only started doing it about a year ago. We've got a big team, and we're, you know, trying to cover all aspects of the game. It's really good.
Fair play, and absolutely, like I say, well deserved, doing a great job. I am doing FIFA tomorrow on ECL on Twitch. I'll do a tweet about it. But 7 o'clock tomorrow, I'll be back doing my FIFA 22 Solskjaer streams. Come and say hi over there. It's normally a bit of a laugh. You can watch how bad I am at FIFA. So yeah, come and join me. Who wouldn't want to see me getting battered on FIFA? Anyways, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining. Like I say, go and follow Nat. Go and check out All for United as well. Obviously, follow me if you haven't already on Instagram, Soph Richo with a kiss on the end of it as well. And yeah, hit the sub button. I'll see you soon. Stay positive, keep smiling. Have a good week.